Hello, fellow Star Wars fans, and welcome to the channel. It is the week of November 20th. This week in Star Wars comics for the year of 2024, we have both a Marvel issue as well as a Dark Horse issue. Getting into the things here for this week, we have, of course, Star Wars The High Republic Adventures, written by DJO, which is Daniel Jose Older, of course, and artwork is by Caio Felipe. This is Return to Valo Part 2. This one solely focuses on Jamaram, who we've known from Phase 1 of the High Republic. He is on Valo fighting this war against the Nihil behind the curtain of the storm wall within the occlusion zone of the Nihil territory. And this is what this issue is about. So we have Ram harkening back to days of old, talking about Crash Point Tower. He is doing his best to fight on the ground against the Nihil, who are now uprising against the Red Skulls, and we have the Warden who is leading the Nihil. We also have the character of Gavi, who was pretending to be a Nihil, but he got caught on by Warden, now using him for communications. So basically it comes down to Ram has to go on a mission to Crash Point Tower to get a signal out to the people of the occlusion zone and whatnot to keep on fighting, for their freedom. And then meanwhile you have the Warden who sends a signal back to Crash Point Tower to basically intercept the transmission to go out to his allies, and that's when Jamaram decides to detonate a bomb on board of the tower of Crash Point Tower. So we get to see this Crash Point Tower in Escape from, or Race to Crash Point Tower, which was a middle grade novel written by Daniel Jose Older, and now we get to see its destruction in the High Republic Adventures. How fitting, right? We also have this storyline going on with Farzala as well, and that's in the beginning of this with the Star Hopper. They're taking back the Star Hopper from Warden and his Nihil forces, and that's when we have none other than the Claw Man himself going and running and taking out the lobster crustacean dude, the guy who's from Solo. Correct me if I'm wrong, I forget the guy's name. Therm Scissor Punch. These Nihil are afraid of Therm Scissor Punch, everybody. So it was a really fun moment to see them kind of running back like they're going against Farzala and Ram. And then them two are just like, wait, why are they running? And they realize, oh, it's that crustaceous guy who's going after him. So I thought that was really funny. Some other positives out of this issue are we get to see the droid of Ram, and that's he flies in on this droid to Crash Point Tower. The droid is basically as well as a speeder bike in a way, and his name is VRM or something like that, something with a V. So this was a good, very simple story. I like that there was a focus on the mechanical use of the Force, or how Ram uses the Force to repair things. He's like Anakin Skywalker, but even better when it comes to repairing things. That's how he's able to get to Crash Point Tower and send out the signal and whatnot. So really enjoyed this one. Another one I'm really enjoying is the Battle of Jakku Maxi series, and now we are starting off the second miniseries that comprises this 3 miniseries that make up 12 issues of this run. This one, of course, is Republic Under Siege, From the Depths. Now, there's 2 different stories actually in this. We have From the Depths, and we also have Consolidation. So getting into From the Depths, this is chapter 5 of 12 if you're keeping count. And this one, of course, is written by Alex Segura, which both of these stories will be. And this one specifically has the art by Stefani Raphael. And we pick up with Luke Skywalker, right? We pick up with Luke Skywalker with Rin. They're on this forested planet, and Luke is saying, hey, we got this artifact, we got to get it away. That's when they're beset upon by the acolytes of the Beyond. Once again, Luke has made a reference to a character named Master Kai Narek. That might ring a bell for those of you that are steeped in the lore of the Clone Wars. That is the master of Asajj Ventress, and it's mentioned that one of his apprentices kind of went off and did her own thing, and that's a reference to Asajj Ventress. So that was really cool. So we get to see Luke fighting against more acolytes of the Beyond, and he's like, why are you guys fighting me? This is pointless. And they're like, oh, we're doing this purposely because we're trying to distract you. And then later on, as he's getting distracted, Doctor Aphra just shows up out of nowhere and gets this artifact, and that's where we leave off with that storyline. So that was really big. Like, we've been waiting for Doctor Aphra to show up in that post Return of the Jedi era. Last we left off, we've seen her right before Return of the Jedi, so it's cool to get that evidence. I mean, we knew she was coming. She was on one of the covers for issue number 2, so it's really neat to see her. I can't wait to see what she does, how she fits into the story. Maybe leads to some foreshadowing of maybe future stories that we could get in more comic book mediums, and maybe something else besides the line. We also catch up with quite a bit of stuff with Moff, with the Moff of the story, right? So we go Adelhard. He has now a new belief that he needs to work with the acolytes of Beyond. He needs to work with the dark side or something, because Luke is just too powerful. He needs to combat these, but he is doubled down on his cruelty. He's destroying people. He's making alliances with these different generals, and he's just out for blood at this point. He's out for blood. We catch up with Leia, and she is on Chandrila. She's just talking to Mon Mothma about what's going on. We're getting references to the Life Debt novel by we got the Chuck Wendig's Life Debt novel, the Aftermath trilogy, and they're making a reference to Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk needs help, and that is when they mention something about this one specific ship, and it's Ashmead's Lock, and that's where a lot of these prisoners were on board this ship that was crashed as a jail on top of in Kashyyyk. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, and then that's basically where this story takes place. There's a lot of setup, but there's also a lot of action, and then we also figured out that the one lieutenant that works for Adelhard is getting caught on by Commander Bragg, Adelhard. So they're interrogating her. She's basically interrogating somebody that was a spy that was going to expose her. So she's like, no, I'll take care of this. And that's where we lead into Consolidation, a standalone story. This is, of course, written by Alex Segura with artwork by Jethro Morales. And I guess this is what they're planning on doing. I guess maybe it seems the pattern is every first issue of these miniseries, we get a backup story about Adelhard and about why this guy is such a jerk off, essentially. So this one is really all about Adelhard making alliances, even though some of them might not come true. So he makes an alliance with Zeva Bliss. He makes an alliance with this Loras guy, or whatever his name is, his general. There's even the one guy in the background there, Rax, Gallius Rax, who's apparently the antagonist of them. We also have Adelhard talking about Sloane, about this meeting on Akiva, all these different things going in motion, and it's very interesting because at the end he finds out that the spy that Lieutenant Alacia was interrogating is dead, so he realizes, oh man, she has basically double-crossed us. And that's where we leave off. So, good stuff here. Cannot wait till the next issue. We get to see what the heck Luke Skywalker is up to with Doctor Aphra and how she might help the New Republic. So for more on the content here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more on Star Wars. This is your place for all the latest on reviews and much, much more. That's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.